Aha. Why is this not working now? Hey, you can hear me now. Thank you for texting me, Dad. At least I know somebody's watching. Let's turn that down a little bit. I guess I have to start over, but that's okay. I'm only a few minutes in. It's a good thing, too, because you don't want to miss what I was just talking about. It was pretty interesting. Riveting, in fact. I did point out, look at that number. We got 150 subscribers today. Up 20 from yesterday. 21 if you count 129, but, who's counting? Me. I'm counting. And who am I? I am Tom Durante, the maestro, here at Durante's House of Music. I'm your guide to all things musical, and in fact, I am the Lord of the Strings. Here at Durante's Music Tech, you'll find piano repair videos, music theory, music production, live performances, and everything in between. If you like what I do and you want to support the channel's work, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and share. Share it with your friends. They may like it too. They may just think I look silly and I talk silly, but that's okay. I'll take the views and the subscribes. Come back for more. I'm not signing off. I'm just saying come back for more. There's a lot on my channel already, but come back for more. Check it out. Share this video, like and subscribe, and thank you if you already have. Let's see what we can get into today. I was pointing out that I've been writing out the key of the days that I could remember, the numbers anyway. And hello to you, my lovely people in my computer. So, what can we get into today? Today's music history started off on an interesting note. Anyway. Better, you're welcome. I love reading Grok's little intro because it's so silly. Because it assumes that something musical is going to happen today. And it's advising me, informing me, that nothing yet has happened today. Today is Thursday, April 10th, 2025. And as it's only 3:51 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, I was saying I should tell Grok that I'm in Eastern Daylight Time. No major music events for today have been widely reported yet. Below are 5 notable historical music events that occurred on April 10th, across various years, blending your preference, my preference, for classics with significant moments. One day there's going to be a significant musical event, and we're going to get it in there. 1849. Walter Hunt patented the safety pin. That doesn't sound very musical yet, but just wait. Just you wait. On April 10th, a seemingly mundane invention that influenced 19th century music culture indirectly. By making clothing repairs easier, it supported elaborate opera costumes, like those for Giuseppe Verdi's Il Trovatore, premiered 1853, allowing singers to focus on belting arias rather than wardrobe malfunctions. That's a bit of a stretch, Grok, but I'll take it. 1917, Scott Joplin, the king of ragtime, was buried on April 10th in New York City, days after his death on April 3rd. His syncopated piano works, like The Entertainer, shaped early jazz. Though he died in obscurity, a 1970s revival spurred by The Sting's soundtrack brought his music back to concert halls. Oh, that's interesting. 1967. Marvin Gaye recorded Ain't No Mountain High Enough with Tammy Terrell on April 10th at Motown's Hitsville, USA studio in Detroit. Their duet, a soaring testament to love's resilience, hit number 19 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming a soul classic and later inspiring covers across genres. 1970. Paul McCartney announced his departure from the Beatles on April 10th, effectively confirming the band's breakup to the public. Promoting his solo album, McCartney, he cited personal and creative differences. The news shook the music world, ending an era that redefined pop and rock. And it's always interesting to me. I grew up a huge Beatles fan thanks to my dad, and it's always interesting to me the amount of songs and work that the Beatles came up with only happened within the span of about 9 years. It's incredible. 1999, Faith Hill's The Kiss topped the Billboard Hot Country Singles chart on April 10th, cementing her crossover from country to pop stardom. The infectious hit with its upbeat twang, showcased her vocal range, and set the stage for her multi-genre dominance in the 2000s. These span opera's cultural backdrop, ragtime's legacy, soul's golden age, rock's seismic shifts, and country pop's rise. Perfect for your stream's classic vibe. If something big drops later today, I can update you. Want any more of these? That'll do for now. Thank you, Grok. Please make sure to be polite to the AIs. You never know, they may spare you when they take over. Let's find out the key of the day. What will it be? It's gonna be hard to do this with one hand. Excuse me, I need to use that hand. Random number generator. Where are you? There are you. Okay, it was 12 yesterday. 1. We have not had 1 yet. That would be the illustrious key of C maggiore. I'm going to go over here. Hello, lovely people in my computer. And guess what? I haven't really gone anywhere because I'm right here in my piano. I love it. 12 to 1. That's interesting, isn't it? Let's turn off that theremin a bit. We'll be back with you later, theremin. Not theremin, that's something different. It's a mini theremin. All correct, Alex. All correct. Oh, you missed the call of it. You called it wrong, but that's okay. Perfect pitch does not mean perfect intuition, but that's okay. Let's find a new voice. I should do a random, if I didn't want to mess up, let's just see what we get here. Way too low for that clavichord. You know, I love kayaking down the river, but that's not a picture of mine. I thought I opened this. I guess I didn't. There it is. Let's put that over here so that I can keep my brand consistent. There it is. That's what we want to see. That's what I want to see. Yo. There we are. All is well. Yow. Don't forget, our relative key is the 6th scale degree of whatever key it is that we're in. And since today is... Oh, we just picked up another subscriber. That's fun. Since today's key is C, the relative minor key is A minor. Purple organ, how appropriate. I'm trying out some organs today. Theater organ. What's the best organ? Chapel organ's pretty good. I heard there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? Anyway, related, I received a copyright dispute on my last video. Make sure to watch these live, just in case they get taken down, like that one did. Because I think it's back up now because I disputed it because they were wrong. I did not, in fact, infringe upon anyone's copyright. You called what? The copyright? On my Ableton website, there are those little videos. And we were jamming out to some lovely tunes yesterday. Unfortunately, Daft Punk did not like me playing their music. So I'm being noticed by Daft Punk, or at least their lawyers anyway. Or maybe just an AI that crawls YouTube and finds videos with Daft Punk. Boo, YouTube, boo. Well, I don't know. We're on YouTube, so we really got to be nice to them. My friend came by last night and suggested I go to Twitch or multi-stream to Twitch. Do you guys watch Twitch? Is that something I should do? Pipe organ reminded you of Dominic. The pipe organ. Do you guys watch Twitch? Ooh, I like that one. I do not watch Twitch. Yeah, I didn't think... I mean, that's just one person's opinion, but I didn't think that it was a great idea. I mean, I don't know. I can multi-stream. I was thinking of multi-streaming to either Rumble or X, or maybe both of those, because apparently what I can do, while I can't set it up with my OBS open just once, I can open up multiple instances of OBS and have a different stream going to a different platform, or have the same stream. I don't know. I'll have to experiment a little bit. I don't know if I can have the one camera, or my cameras that I'm using, all set to go through multiple streams. I don't know. Maybe we'll ask Grok. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely wanted to go to Rumble. I uploaded some of my my produced videos up there. Actually, I got to upload that theory video up there. But yeah, I was thinking, Rumble is supporting a lot of up-and-coming people, because they are up-and-coming as well. If you don't know about Rumble, it's like YouTube's biggest competitor, and then my video just goes down there like, no, don't tell them about Rumble. Oh my God, how dare you? Anyway, so it's a competitor to YouTube. And yeah, they embrace a little bit more of the free speech aspect of things, which I support. And so, I'm already monetized on Rumble. I haven't checked in with that in a while. I don't think I've made any money off of it yet, but I'm already monetized. It's possible for me to make money on Rumble. So if you support free speech, which I hope you do, and you want to check out Rumble, it's pretty much YouTube, but different, better, I don't know. So check that out. I'm going to shut up and keep playing some music. Let's see what else we can do. Harmonica. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? I'm totally playing in the daily key. It's the minor variant. A minor. Classical guitar sounds way better in a minor key. I'm a way better guitar player on the piano. Well, have a good night. Hope you feel better. rest up, and be sure to stay hydrated. Apparently, I'm not supposed to pretend that I'm sponsored by things. I guess it's kind of a big deal. So, I'm sorry, Pellegrino. I do love you, but you haven't given me money. And neither has filtered tap water. Oh, not tap water. Bleh. Filtered fridge water. And while we're at it, neither has anybody else. I just love that. Sorry. Well, it's been over 30 minutes, so you know what time it is. Ooh. Deceptive cadence in a minor key. I do not deceive you, my friends. It is time to talk about some chords. Because all we do is chords. Got me a whammy bar. Anyway, oh, I have to set this up every single time. I forgot. Love it. Right now you're just looking at a blank screen. But not for long. The Great Theremin experiment in space will save you. Save. I meant that. All right. So, we are rapidly going through. Let's just recap what we've done, so you can be proud of your accomplishments, my lovely people. You are no longer a neophyte, a new person into the world of music theory, if, and only if, you've been following along with my videos, and even if you've been going on your own and learning this stuff. You are not a neophyte. We have gone through the basics. The staff, note duration, measures and time, rest duration, not restoration. I'm sure I made that joke the first time too. Dots and ties, steps and accidentals. Fill in the void of silence in my head, please. Ah, thank you. You are not a neophyte. You have finished the basics. We have even finished rhythm and meter, although we skipped ahead and then came back, but that's okay. Order is less important. Not entirely, but mostly. We have gone over scales and key signatures. The major scale, the minor scales, scale degrees, key signatures, key signature calculation. We have gone over intervals. We talked about all of this. Generic intervals, specific intervals, writing intervals, interval inversion. We talked about chords. We introduced the 4 types of triads. I think that's all we did. We're going to revisit that just briefly. And we're going to continue. We'll maybe do this entire... Oh, we got to hit that too. Maybe we'll hit that first and then come back here. Because look at this. We're getting so close. There is... Ooh, I teased you with that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections left. So that might be like another week, maybe 2, who knows. And then we'll be done with that. And I will have basically enough content to clip. It may take a while, but I will clip it out. I want to do something here. I need to pull this out so that I can quit looking over there and find it. Because it's just annoying. Because I just want to know how many people are watching at any given time. I can just put this here, and I can make it small so that I can see it. You don't need to see it, I'll see it. I don't know. Maybe. Like I said, I'm still experimenting. Maybe that's annoying, maybe it's not. Who the heck knows? Can I make that even smaller? Can I make that even smaller? I guess not. That's okay, that's small enough. Or let's scooch up. Nope, okay, that's alright. So far it's just me. As far as I know, it just says 1. Unless some people are figuring out a way to be secretive and not tell me what's going on. I wish I could pull this out too. Is there a way to pull that out? I don't know. Let's see. What can I do here? Docs. Yeah, what's that? Reset, blah, blah, blah. Stats? What's this? Stats? Oh my god. I don't need to put all this in there, but anyway. You just close the dockable window. If you'd like to show it again, use the docs menu on the menu bar. Anyway, let's get back into it here, because now I don't have to flip back and forth to be like, is anybody watching? Nobody's watching. It's just me. That's okay. I'm used to that. Or am I? I'm not even watching, so it's somebody else who's watching. Good for you. I'm going to put me back on me. Me back on me. Good for you. Now that should go up to 2. Anyway, enough distractions, Durante. Let's get into it. Let's talk about diatonic chords. Okay? Maybe that's a little loud, but I think that's the peak of it. Don't turn it down too much, like you usually do. There you go. That's acceptable. All right. So I'm going to be even more careful with my Ableton site from now on. They tricked me. Diatonic chords. Every major and minor scale has 7 special triads called diatonic triads, which are formed from that scale's notes. Alex is watching, my uncle in California. How are we doing, sir? I hope I'm keeping it engaging, and you never told me what it is you didn't like about live streams. Let's see. So hopefully you've been keeping up, Sir Alex, and you are not lost as far as what I'm talking about. Because I do, like I said, I want to pull out all of this content and make like a super edit of all the things I've talked about. So people can kind of go back and study it on their own. But like I said a few times, let's see. I've got this up here. Let's go right here so you can see. I hope you can see because I haven't flipped over to my view of what you can see. There you are. And there I am. Look, I'm on my board now. Anyway, so the order of understanding music goes from notes to scales to intervals to chords and to 7th chords. In that direction, you build up from there. So I hope you've been paying attention and taking notes, and I hope you learned something. Because like I said, my most important goal here is to share my passions and to help you learn something that you want to learn. So, diatonic triads, which are formed from that scale's notes. And today's scale of the day is C major. And we are on a classical guitar at the moment. I'm going to leave it there. To discover the diatonic triads, a 3-step process must be used, must it? First, construct the scale. We will be using the C major scale for our first example. Next, stack 2 generic thirds on top of each note. I refer to this in my music theory class in school as a chord stack, because you're stacking chords on top of the scale notes. Finally, analyze the resulting triads. And here we go. The first triad is C-E-G, a major third, and a perfect fifth. Therefore, the triad is major. Also think about it in thirds, remember? We should go back and review that, but we'll get there. A major third on the bottom indicates a major triad. And you can think about the fifth. They're always going to have a fifth. But also it's a major third stacked with a minor third stacked on top. I was going to say stacked under, but no. Okay, so major third, minor third is a major triad. Next, second triad is D-F-A, a minor third and a perfect fifth, or a minor third and a major third. Therefore, it's a minor chord. The third triad is E-G-B, a minor third and a perfect fifth, or a minor third and a major third. Therefore, it's also minor. The fourth triad is F-A-C, a major third and a perfect fifth, or major third, minor third. Therefore, it's major. The fifth triad is G-B-D, a major third and a perfect fifth, or major third and minor third. Therefore, it is also major. The sixth triad is A-C-E, a minor third and perfect fifth, or minor third and major third. Therefore, it's minor. Now, the seventh triad is a little different. A minor third and a diminished fifth, or 2 minor thirds. Therefore, it is diminished diatonically within the key. The eighth triad is a repetition of the first, making it major. The first triad of a major scale will always be major. The second and third triads will always be minor, etc. So in other words, they maintain this pattern throughout all the major scales, as long as you're doing it correctly, as long as you construct them properly. Next, we will uncover the diatonic triads of the C natural minor scale. First, the scale is constructed. Notice that we are using a key signature rather than placing the accidentals by each note. I don't know why. Again, stack 2 generic thirds. Now remember, which is not a great reason. I mean, maybe they'll explain it, but I don't know. And I tell my students to write the accidentals next to each chord so that it is very clear what is lowered and what is not. So this E flat in the key signature applies to every E flat on the paper or page or whatever on the staff. So this is an E flat here, as well as this E flat. Okay? A flat. Yeah. So it's just a little confusing when you do it like this. If you're beginning and you don't know and you're not 100% sure that that's also an E flat. Finally, let's analyze the resulting triads. Okay, so C, E flat, G, minor third, major third, or perfect fifth. Therefore, it's minor. Second is D, F, A flat, a minor third and diminished fifth, or 2 minor thirds. Therefore, it's diminished. The third triad is E flat, G, B flat. Okay, this is a major third and a perfect fifth. Therefore, it's major. This is also our relative major key. Remember, if C is minor, it is therefore the sixth scale degree of some major key. And if you go up 6, 7, 8, and build a triad there, that's the relative major. Okay? So that's would be your 1 in your major key. So this is a major chord on the third scale degree. The fourth triad is F, A flat, C, a minor third and a perfect fifth, or minor third, major third. Therefore, it's minor. The fifth triad is G, B flat, and D, a minor third and perfect fifth, or minor third, major third. Therefore, it's also minor. The sixth triad is A flat, C, E flat, a major third and perfect fifth, or major third, minor third. Therefore, it's major. The seventh triad is B flat, D, and F. I'm sorry. B flat, D, and F, a major third and perfect fifth. Therefore, it's also major. I was thinking it should also be diminished, but I'm just thinking maybe it's not. I guess it's a different key. Anyway, I'm confusing myself. Okay, so it's major third, perfect fifth, therefore it's also major. But I guess that makes sense, because I was confusing myself. So if E flat is our relative major, the 4 and the 5 chord would be major in that key. So 6 and 7 in our minor key. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are the same equivalent as 4 and 5 in the relative major key. I hope I'm not confusing you. The eighth triad is a repetition of the first triad, C, E flat, G, making it minor. Next, we will discuss the triads of a harmonic minor. Remember, there are 3 variants of the minor scale, and so there would be a different chord stack for each one. To convert natural minor to harmonic minor, the 7th tone is raised a half step. Therefore, each B flat, the 7th tone of the C minor, is raised to B. Maybe this is what I was thinking of. Yeah, this is what I was thinking of. That's why I was confused. Since the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th chords have been altered, they need to be reanalyzed. The third triad is now E, G, B flat, or B natural, excuse me. Ooh, major third and augmented fifth, or major third and major third. Therefore, it is augmented. The 5th triad is now G, B, D, a major third and a perfect fifth, or major third, minor third. Therefore, it's major. And we would hope, the 5 chord to be major, because that makes it a dominant. A minor chord is not a dominant chord. It doesn't lead us back to the tonic. Either one of those could be your tonic. There's no pull. But this has a pull to there because of this leading tone. It pulls you to the tonic. B natural going to C. Even if it's a minor. Okay? Now, the 7th triad is now B, D, F, a minor third and a diminished fifth, or 2 minor thirds. Therefore, it's diminished, as I was expecting it to be. Finally, we will discuss the diatonic triads of melodic minor. This is the 3rd version of the minor scale. To convert harmonic minor to melodic minor, the 6th tone is raised half a step. Therefore, each A flat, the 6th tone of C minor, is raised to an A. Since the 2nd, 4th, and 6th chords have been altered, they need to be reanalyzed. The 2nd triad is now DFA, a minor third and a perfect fifth, or minor third and major third. Therefore, it's minor. The 4th triad is now FAC, a major third and a perfect fifth, or major third and minor third. Therefore, it's major. The sixth triad is now A, C, E flat, a minor third and diminished fifth, or two minor thirds. Therefore, it's diminished. Use this chart for reference. Use this chart to reference the diatonic triads in each scale, and they gave us major as well. Okay, so we have major. Okay, we're just playing notes that are within that scale. So this is based upon the lowest note in each of these chords. Natural minor. Harmonic minor. Oh, did I? I don't know if I did the natural minor correct. I'm going to do that again. And then harmonic. And melodic. Okay, a lot of stuff going on there, but let's try and digest it a bit. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's go back here. Let's just review our chords. We're going to blaze, let's see if we can blaze all the way to the end. Shashwa. Okay, major chord. And we've talked about this just in that previous lesson, but also a day or two ago. A major triad. Remember, triad has 3 notes. Chord can be 3 or more. So when we talk about a 7th chord, it has 4 notes. But a major triad only has 3. The root, a major third, and a perfect 5th. Or a major third and a minor third. Remember our half steps for major thirds and minor thirds. A major third has 4 half steps. And you do not count the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from here, you're doing 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. So a major third, minor third. Gives us a major triad. A minor triad has the opposite of that. A minor third on the bottom, 3 half steps, and a major third on top, 4 half steps. Okay? An augmented triad. And you see how it's in line with the major because it's like a major, but altered from there. And the diminished is like a minor, but altered from there. So from a major triad, we raise the 5th. Okay? So we have now 2 major thirds, or a major third and an augmented 5th. So 2 major thirds are both 4 half steps. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then a diminished triad, you go from a minor chord, which is a minor third, and now you do a diminished 5th. Diminished chords get more complicated than that, but a diminished triad is 2 minor thirds comprised of 3 half steps. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Okay. That's our refresher from our chords, our triads. Introduction to chords. That should be triads. Learn about the 4 types of triads. Triad inversion. I don't know if we talked about this. I don't think we did. Like intervals, triads can be inverted. Let me just check my time. By moving the lowest note up an octave. The lowest note, called the bass note. I remember doing this with intervals, but I don't know if we did this. So the bass note, or the root note, when the lowest note is the root of the chord, the triad is in root position. Okay? Next, let's invert the chord. The bass note is now... Okay, so let's just clarify here. The lowest note, no matter what it is called the bass note. Okay, the bass note determines what inversion it is. When the lowest note is the root of the chord, so you have three components of a triad: the root, the third, and the fifth. Okay, root, third, fifth. When the root is in the bass, it is in root position. Now when you invert it, the third is now in the bass. You've thrown the root up an octave. So now you have a third in the bass. So this is called first inversion. Okay? Invert the chord again by throwing the third up an octave. Now the fifth is what's in the bass. This is called second inversion. And you can only do 2 inversions with a triad. Then you flip it again, you throw the fifth up an octave, and now you are back in root position. Okay, so those are your three positions, but 2 inversions. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, and root position again. Use this chart for reference to triad inversions. So don't confuse root and bass. The bass does not have to be the root. The bass is your lowest note, no matter what it is. And that determines what inversion you are in. Whether you are in root position, which is not an inversion, you are in first inversion if the third is in the bass, and you are in second inversion if the fifth is in the bass. Nice and simple. Okay? Triads. It says triads, so I'm going to jump here to triads. Roman numeral analysis and triads. We did talk about this. Where is that? I didn't erase it. Look at me go. Let's come over here for a second. All right. So we did talk about this briefly. Okay. When we were talking about our scales, we talked about whole steps, half step, whole step, half step. That's our formula for a major scale. This little diagram here has a lot of information on it. This is the F major scale, starting on F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. My flat got a little erased there. The 6 scale degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is a D. If we start the same exact scale on a D, we get a new formula: whole, half, whole, half, whole. We keep the B flat where it is, and starting on the 6th scale degree, we now have a D minor scale. Okay? Now we can give them scale degree numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I gave them Roman numerals just to equate those with you. Okay, 1, minor 2, minor 3, major 4, major 5, minor 6, diminished 7, and 1. And now you understand what that means, because we just went over that lesson about chord qualities and chord stacks. So, where are we at? Let's go back over here. I need to put that in a different spot. But not right now. Ooh, we gained another subscriber. 2 in one video. That's pretty cool. All right. It's better than losing. I like the boost of confidence. So, Roman numeral analysis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We analyze, when analyzing music, each diatonic triad is identified by a Roman numeral. The first diatonic triad of the scale uses Roman numeral for 1. The second diatonic triad uses the Roman numeral for 2. The pattern continues. In addition, the modern Roman numeral system uses different styles for each triad type. Uppercase numerals represent major triads. Lowercase numerals represent minor triads. Uppercase numerals with a small plus sign represent augmented triads. Lowercase numerals with small circle represent diminished triads. Let's apply Roman numerals to the C major. It's not a scale, it's a chord stack. There are some edits you could make to this website, musictheory.net. Let's apply Roman numerals to the C major chord stack. Since the first triad is major, its Roman numeral is uppercase. The second triad is minor, its numeral is lowercase. The third triad's numeral is also lowercase. The fourth triad's numeral is uppercase. The fifth is uppercase. The sixth is lowercase. The seventh is diminished with a degree sign next to it. It's numeral case with a small circle, lowercase with a small circle. The last triad is the same as the first. You do not write an 8. You write a 1. 8 and 1 are the same, and so you write a 1. We don't have an 8 triad. Let's apply the Roman numerals to the C natural minor scale chord stack, not scale. Since the first triad is minor, its numeral is lowercase. The second triad is diminished. Its numeral is lowercase with a small degree sign. The third is upper. The fourth is lower. The fifth is also lowercase. The sixth is uppercase. The seventh is uppercase. And again, the Roman numeral for 1 is the same. Let's apply Roman numerals to the C harmonic minor scale. Third is now augmented with a plus sign. Fifth is now major. Seventh is now diminished. Let's apply Roman numerals to the C melodic minor scale. Second triad is now minor. The fourth triad is now major. And the sixth is now diminished. Roman numeral system can also indicate inversions. Ooh, we're getting into inversion symbols here. The first inversion symbol is represented by a small 6 after the numeral. Okay, so they're jumping into something here that's a little bit, it's not a little bit advanced, but, it can be a little convoluted. So we are now talking about the intervals here. You have a third and a fifth in this, okay? So technically speaking, I wish I could just write on the screen here. Technically speaking, the inversion symbol for this root position triad would be a 5, 3, because it is a fifth and a third. You count the intervals that are there. So the first inversion is represented by a small 6 after the numeral. This is due to the root being a generic sixth above the bass note, which is the third. Okay? This technically would be 6, 3. I'm going to get the whiteboard out. This is whiteboard worthy. WW, whiteboard worthy. All right. There's our counting lesson from yesterday. Simple and compound time to refresh your memory. Go back and watch it if you haven't. So we're talking about inversion symbols, which is a little bit complicated, just a little bit. Okay. Can you see this? Nope. That's the one. There you go. All right. So we have a root position triad. Okay, those are our different shapes. And I try to keep it pretty consistent here so that they're all in the same plane. So this is a fifth. And this is a third. So, to keep it consistent with what they're showing you, 5, 3. But you do not write that. It's just implied. Okay, there's a fifth and a third. You're just going to count the intervals that are present. This, I ran out of room here. This is a sixth. And this is a third. Okay. So you would write a 6. The third is there, but if it's in parentheses, you do not write it. It is implied. 6, 3, technically speaking. Okay. This is also a 6. And this is a 4. So what we're just jumping ahead here because I'm writing it on my board. Okay. So this is 6, 4, and you write all of those. I'll prove it to you. Second inversion is represented with both a small 6 and a 4. This is due to the root and the third being a generic 6th and a 4th above the bass note, which is the 5th of the chord. Okay? So this would be a 5-3 inversion. This is a 6-3 inversion, but you only write the 6. And this is a 6-4 inversion. Oh, look at that. They do explain. Some theorists, I guess I am a theorist, some theorists use both a 6 and a 3 to represent first inversion. While we will use the 6 alone, you should be aware of the other representation. Thank you for fully explaining what is happening. Yo, okay. Use this chart to reference the Roman numerals for each scale. Screen grab it. Use this chart to reference the Roman numerals for inversions. Okay, that was a lot of information in there. Let's just talk about seventh chords, because we need to. We just need to. A seventh chord is the combination of a triad and an interval of a seventh. 5 types of seventh chords are commonly used. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be identifying, I'm going to draw a little chord up here. We're going to be separating the triad from the interval of a seventh. Okay, so triad and seventh. That's how we're going to define our seventh chords. Major triad and a minor seventh combine to form a dominant seventh chord. Major triad, minor seventh. The way that I like to think about sevenths, whether they're major or minor, is in context of an octave. Okay, you walk it back from an octave. You have a C to C octave. That's a octave, a perfect octave. Remember, perfect intervals, such as the unison, the fourth, the fifth, and the octave, don't have a major or minor variant. They are perfect. That's just how they're referred to. Okay? So then, if you walk it back 1/2 step, that's a major seventh. If you walk it back another 1/2 step or a whole step away from the octave, that is a minor seventh. So a major triad with a minor seventh is a dominant 7. Dominant seventh chords are abbreviated with a simple 7. I'm afraid it's a bit more complicated than that, but we'll start there. Let's examine a C dominant seventh chord. C, E, G is the major triad. Remember, major is major third with 4 1/2 steps and a minor third with 3 1/2 steps. Okay? You can think about seventh chords as a stack of 3 thirds. Okay? So if we were to do that, you would have a major third with 4 1/2 steps, a minor third with 3 1/2 steps, and another minor third with 3 1/2 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's how I think about them. C to B flat is the minor seventh. Okay, I like how they show you on the staff and also on the keyboard. When combined, they form a C dominant seventh chord, C, E, G, B flat. Okay, now, from what we learned in a previous lesson, the dominant is the 5th scale degree of the chord. Okay, so if C, they're telling us C is a dominant 7th chord. So that means C is the 5th. And there's a B flat in there. That's a little bit of a context clue. Okay, what key has 1 flat? It's one that you had to memorize. That key is F. Okay, and if you go backwards 5 steps from C, 5, 4 with the B flat, 3, 2, 1. Okay. That brings us to F. This is an inversion. Look at us learning things. This is second inversion. This is a 6, 4. All right? 6, 4, second inversion, F major triad. And it just happens to fit right in my hand there. Now, Anytime you can share a note between two chords, you want to leave it there. It's good voice leading. So that C is common between both chords. So that's why that really fits right within my hand. Okay, let's move on here before I get stuck in the weeds. But first, your reminder to stay hydrated. Your body is 80% water. Get your daily dose. There is no required dose for each person. You drink until you're not thirsty anymore. And you are hydrated. Next, let's examine an F sharp dominant 7th chord. F sharp A C sharp is the major triad. F sharp to E is the minor 7th. Okay, we're going to expand it a half step. That's a major. And another half step to get to a minor. So we're two half steps away from an octave, meaning we have a minor 7th. When combined, they form an F dominant 7th chord. Now, let's examine an A flat dominant 7th chord. A flat, C, E flat is the major triad. A to G flat is the minor 7th. Remember, two half steps away from an octave. Just to check. When combined, they form an A dominant 7th chord. Ooh, let's just take a step back for a second. F sharp, if it's the 5th, the dominant, what is it the dominant of? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, B. And that voicing applies here too. 6, 4. And we had A flat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D flat. 6, 4. Music is pretty universal with all the keys here. If you learn it in one key, such as C, it makes sense in all the other ones. It's just difficult to translate. A major, or is that just a major? A major triad and a major 7th combine to form a major 7th chord. Okay, I'm sorry, I was stuck on a major or a major. So, a major triad and a major 7th, are you ready? It's about to get jazzy in here. Oh, yeah. Combine to form a major 7th chord. Major 7th chords are abbreviated with a capital M and a 7. Not only that, they are also described or abbreviated with a triangle. Okay? This triangle, if you see, let's just say F triangle, you're like, wait a minute. Am I doing geometry? What's happening here? I thought this was music. Well, that is an F major 7. Does it say 7? I think it might say 7. I don't remember. But I know there's a triangle in there. So it could be a capital M 7, or it could be a triangle 7. Let's examine the C major 7th chord. C, E, G is the major triad. C to B is the major 7th. Okay, we're now half a step away from an octave. When combined, they form a C major 7th chord. Okay, we're going to do a couple more examples. We got F, A, C, E sharp, okay, is a half a step away from F sharp. Now, this is important. Why didn't they just call it an F? Because, you see, children, we need an F, an A, a C, and an E of some kind. Okay? They can't call that an F because we already have an F. We don't need an F, we need an E. So it has to be an E of some kind. Even though I'm literally playing the note F on the piano, and they're pointing to that note F, it's referred to as E sharp because it has to be an E, not an F. I hope that's clear. A flat. A, C, A flat, C, E flat, and G. Half a step away from an octave. Okay, a couple more seventh chords to talk about. A minor triad and a minor seventh combine to form a minor seventh, also known as a minor minor, because you refer to them as by the triad and by the seventh. I'll refer to that when we get to the end when they show us a chart. So a minor triad and a minor seventh. I like that one. It's a little jazzy too. Okay, minor seventh chords are abbreviated using a lowercase m and a 7. Let's examine a C minor seventh chord. So C minor triad, minor third, major third, minor third, or half a step away, 2 half a steps away from an octave. C E flat G is the minor triad. C B flat is the minor seventh. When combined, they form an C minor minor 7 chord. It sounds redundant, but that's how you refer to it. Minor for the triad, minor for the seventh. Next, let's examine an F sharp minor minor seventh chord. F sharp A, C sharp is the minor triad. F sharp to E is the minor seventh, 2 half steps or a whole step away from this octave. When combined, they form an F sharp minor minor seventh chord. I'm adding that in there because I know it's there. There are some details that are missing. Some theorists refer to this as the minor minor. Alright, I think you get the idea. Minor and a minor and a minor and a minor. The diminished triad and here's where what I was talking about with the diminished chords. Diminished seventh chords are a bit confusing, so pay attention. A diminished triad and a minor seventh combine to form a half diminished seventh chord, okay? There's no quarter diminished seventh chord, so you're not going to build a diminished triad with a major 7. You will not do that. That's not a chord. I mean, it is if you're like a modern composer and that's what you want, but that's not theoretically a chord. Nope. We're going to go a minor 7th, okay? Okay, so the thirds in this chord, we're building a C half diminished 7th chord, okay? You use the diminished symbol with a slash through it to refer to a half diminished versus a fully diminished 7th chord, okay? So we have a minor third, 1, 2, 3 half steps, another minor third, 1, 2, 3 half steps, and a major third, 1, 2, 3, 4. Although it's a minor 7th, it's a major third above that 5th. Let's examine a C half diminished chord. We have C, E flat, G flat, and C to B flat. C, E flat, G flat, B flat. Okay? Now, I'm just going to jump ahead to the fully diminished. Okay? Fully diminished. Diminished triad and a diminished 7th combine to form a diminished 7th chord, or fully diminished 7th chord. Diminished 7th chords are abbreviated with an open circle, the degree sign, and a 7. Let's examine C diminished 7th chord. C, E flat, and G flat is the diminished triad. C to B double flat. Okay, so that is 1 to 3 half steps away from an octave, or a step and a half. Okay, now I can hear you asking in the back there, why isn't that just an A? You tell me. That's right, because it has to be a B of some kind. We need a C, an E, a G, and a B, because they are stacked in thirds. Okay, so you don't see an A written here. You see a B, so it has to be a B, because that's what the chord needs. It needs 4 thirds, or 3 thirds stacked up. And so that's how we get to B double flat. Alright, so the fully diminished 7th chord is 3 minor thirds. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the fully diminished 7th chord is quite special. I believe it was Beethoven who kind of he didn't discover its use, but he definitely used its function the most out of, classical composers up to that point. So the fully diminished seventh chord can be inverted. Oops. Okay. And it is a transitory chord because you can resolve this chord to any adjacent note to any one of those chord tones, which essentially means it is a bridge to any direction you want to go. Because look at this. There are all the notes here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then this one is down here. Right? So you can resolve this C fully diminished chord to a B chord. You can resolve it to a D flat. That one works pretty well. Some of these work better than others. You can resolve it to a D. You can resolve it to an E. That really works. You can resolve it to an F. Some of these work better than others, but they all work. You can resolve it to a G. You can resolve it to an A flat. Oops. Whatever that is. Once I get the notes right. Anyway. Did I say A? I meant A flat. You can resolve it to a B flat. And you can resolve it to a B. I already did that one because it's down here. So it's a transitory chord that can go anywhere, and Beethoven utilized that very effectively. All right, we don't need to go through all the examples because that's all of them. That's all the seventh chords that are possible. Okay? I feel like I remember an augmented seventh, but I don't know. It's not on the chart, so we're not going to talk about it just yet. So seventh chord equals triad plus seventh interval and the abbreviation. So a dominant seventh is a major triad and a minor seventh. Whoa, that is not what I meant to do. Actually, there was nothing touching that, so that's pretty weird. I'll have to check the video footage to see how that happened. So, major triad, minor seventh, is a dominant seventh chord. Major triad and a major seventh. Let's come over here to this. Minor seventh, dominant seven. Major triad and a major seventh are a major seventh chord. A minor triad and a minor seventh is a minor minor seventh, or a minor seventh. A diminished triad and a minor seventh is a half diminished seventh chord. And a diminished triad with a diminished seventh is a fully diminished seventh chord. And now your brain is mush. Let's see what we're talking about here in our production videos. Maybe I think we can skip that today. We did a lot. We'll come into this next time. Getting into some melodies. And I'm going to play like 2 seconds of these because I'm not going to get another warning, copyright thing, whatever. And it kind of puts a damper on what I was planning to do tomorrow, but I'm still probably going to try and do it because I'm picking older songs for what I want to try. All right, it looks like it's just me still watching. I don't know. Maybe my numbers are off. But anyway, I'm going to jam us out a little bit. I don't have any jokes today. Just a laugh. It's so funny that my brain is mush right now, and yours is probably too. Let's turn off my interstellar space. Background radiation music. And let's go over to here. Look at me. I'm right there. Our daily key of C major. Did we pick up another subscriber? Is that 3 in a video? That's crazy. It's been wonderful, folks. It's been wonderful. That was a vibe. I think it's time to call it a night. We've had a busy day today here at Durante's House of Music. Let's play me off here with a little Earthenia. My love. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I hope you come back for more. I hope that I'm helping you. If so, please make sure. I'm going to try not to keep myself small like I did last time, as in diminished, as in tiny, as in minimized. So please, if you found this video helpful, if you find the content within it useful, and if you find the presenter knowledgeable, please gently smash the like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you are notified when I go live, because right now I have time to go live 6 days a week, but it won't always be the case, and you may anticipate my absence and miss me when I'm gone, and you'll want to be notified when I go live or when I post a new video. So please like, subscribe, bell, notifications, and most importantly, share this video with someone who you think they might find it useful. Look forward to some more content. Look forward to a community. We're going to build a Discord community, I believe. I'll start working on that. It won't be very difficult to start, so we can all gather our thoughts, and when I eventually stop going live 6 days a week, you will have a place to converse. You can message me directly. You can message each other. Looks like somebody just hopped back in, just as I'm about to go. It's a little bittersweet. But I really sincerely hope that this content is helpful to you, that you find some use for it, and that you learn something, and you continue to grow as a musician, as a human. Please be kind to each other. Please like and subscribe and share. I'm sorry. That was good. And come back for more at Durante's House of Music with me, Tom Durante, the maestro, the Lord of Strings. Come back for more. Like, subscribe, share, love yourself, be kind to yourself and others. And don't forget, you are 80% water. Stay hydrated. And have a lovely night.